I love weird games. I'm always more interested in playing the bizarre and the unusual than your straightforward action games. The first game I downloaded when I learned about emulation was LSD Dream Emulator. The only games I've ever downloaded on Steam are shit like Goat Simulator and The Stanley Parable and Hatoful Boyfriend. The wacky Japanese party game Incredible Crisis might be my most played PS1 release. I've been anticipating the Seaman episode since I started this project. So I was excited when I looked up the next game I needed to track down for the Dreamcast Files, and found that it was apparently so opaque no one could seemingly describe its gameplay. And reviewers seemed befuddled, bordering on outright hostile. I rubbed my hands together in anticipation of the delightful journey to come. I popped this game, called Seventh Cross Evolution, into my Dreamcast. It is one of the few games on the system that flat out doesn't work for emulation. So this felt even more excitingly exclusive. I got even more excited when the intro screen sounded like a Resident Evil game.
Seventh Cross.
And it started with an "any resemblance is purely coincidental" disclaimer. Like, what could this be? That question rang in my ears throughout my many, many fruitless hours of playing Seventh Cross Evolution, as I mused that perhaps my tolerance for weird games might have a limit. Because this thing is f***ed. We open Seventh Cross Evolution with a simple request. Pick some colors. The colors are not given any meaning, at least not any that are explained, and this insane white, black song that played while I was picking was making me nuts. I surmised that it was something about DNA, and I got excited. Ooh, a blind selection, like the randomness of genes. This is exciting. Then the game simply starts. This is it. This is what you're doing. You currently have as much information as I did. You are a small thing, and you float around, and there's nothing you can press. All the buttons just make bzzz noises. The only thing I could interact with was a large pink monolith, which took me to this screen and asked me to pick more colors without any further explanation. I was unsuccessful. At one point, I touched something, instantly turned into a bigger creature, and then was immediately murdered. And the game reset. I just sat there in silent confusion. I eventually figured out that I needed to touch some stuff? ? To evolve. And I could flee from the crab monsters. But the game's land area has so many blind f***ing corners. There's no rhyme or reason on if you'll be able to go to a specific area or not. Because it all looks the same, which is a problem when you're being chased by predators from behind. Also, the noises that sound when a predator is en route are always the same volume, no matter how close to you they are. And I just hit those blind barriers over and over and over and got eaten. I finally managed to bump into enough stuff to evolve past the little doggy guy, and at least turn myself into Xavier, Renegade Angel. But I could do nothing else of note. I couldn't go anywhere new, I couldn't go on land, I couldn't defend myself, nothing. I made it to the upright man, and now I had more options, but none of them were clear. I even brought out the walkthroughs, but they didn't really help either because the game is so structured on randomness and non-information. It's just the one small pool, there's nowhere to go, and I have no idea what I'm doing. I just die and die and die. There's no rhyme or reason. I managed to fight a crab, I hit it 8 straight times, and then it just indeterminately tapped me, and I immediately died. I realized I could fight back and actually manage to kill something, and then I was immediately killed by a crab thing from behind. A direction I couldn't see or react to. You see these smaller animals, and you do the same fighting steps. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and it isn't fun, or challenging, or engaging, and there isn't anything you can do about any of that. I could look away, or make myself a drink, or play with the dog, or check my phone, and it didn't matter at all. Because there's no clarity, and there's no penalty for dying. No game over screen. You just die and die and die. It's like a roguelike, except you don't learn anything, nothing carries over, and there's no benefit. I have looked up long plays, and folks, it seems like it gets more distinctive and unhinged, and basically just turns into a bunch of bizarre, turn-based RPG strategy battles, and builds to a bunch of crazy cutscenes involving scientists doing forced evolution and World War III and all sorts of insane shit. It looks like a bunch of AI-created randomness. But I gotta be honest with you guys. I absolutely could not get to any of that. I have over 9 full cumulative hours of footage of this game. And this is as far as I got. I have never been more baffled, turning into actual frustration. My notes are just a bunch of shit like, this is fucked, this sucks so bad, this just makes me angry. I love a creative game. I love an offbeat game. And this one apparently has unseen and bizarre depths. But this is just terrible. It's poorly designed, bafflingly structured, hideously ugly, terrible sonically, and just is miserable to try and parse, much less play. An absolutely broken piece of shit. I love weird, and I love the idea of a weird evolution-based game, but you have to at least be able to play it. And this thing is so rancid and impenetrable that I can't even enjoy its weirdness, because it's so buried behind the most alienating structure ever. I know saying, this was too weird for me, will just invite curiosity and wanting to play it, but be warned. The actual experience here is as miserable as any video game I have ever played. I have failed you. F this, man. F this. Happy birthday to me. Next time, you know what the exact opposite of this game is? Yeah.